So you want to bank with SoFi? But what are the limits? Ever get that feeling of being nickel-and-dimed by your bank? Tiny ATM withdrawal limits, surprise fees for exceeding a certain number of transfers. It can feel like they're constantly looking for ways to squeeze extra cash out of you. That's why SoFi Money has been such a game changer. Free ATM withdrawals, high daily spending limits, and no hidden fees. It sounds too good to be true, right? Well, hold on a sec. There are definitely some limits in place at SoFi, just like any other bank. But before we dive into those, let's rewind a bit. SoFi isn't your traditional bank. It started out as a student loan refinancing company and has since branched out into various financial products, including SoFi Money, their online checking and savings account. So, even though it operates much like a bank, it technically isn't one. But that doesn't mean your money isn't safe. SoFi Money accounts are FDIC insured, which means the government protects your deposits up to $250,000. They also offer an additional layer of security through their SoFi Insured Deposit Program, which can bump that protection up to a whopping $2 million. Alright, now that we've established SoFi's legitimacy, let's get down to brass tacks. What are those limits we were talking about? Transaction limits, keeping your money on the move. SoFi Money prides itself on giving you freedom with your finances. Their daily and weekly limits are designed for everyday use, with some wiggle room for those unexpected situations. Here's a breakdown of the key areas. ATM withdrawals. Need quick cash? SoFi lets you withdraw up to $1,000 per day from any ATM. That's enough for most errands, groceries, or emergencies. Debit card spending. Swipe that SoFi debit card with confidence. You can spend up to $6,000 per day using your debit card for purchases. ACH transfers. Moving money between your SoFi account and other banks. ACH transfers are capped at $50,000 daily. This is a generous limit, but it's worth noting that it can be lower depending on how long you've been a SoFi member and your overall account activity. Deposit limits. Feeding your SoFi account. So, how much can you actually put into your SoFi account? There are actually two types of limits to consider here. Mobile check deposits. Thinking of snapping a picture of that paycheck to deposit it? SoFi allows mobile check deposits, but there's a daily limit in place. You'll have to check with SoFi directly for the current amount. Cash deposits. SoFi doesn't have physical branches, so depositing cash might seem tricky. But they've got you covered. You can use participating all-point ATMs to deposit cash, with a daily limit of $1,000 and a monthly maximum of $5,000. Important side note, these limits can change. It's important to remember that SoFi can adjust these limits from time to time. They might do this based on various factors, like fraud prevention or changes in their overall risk assessment. The best way to stay on top of things is to keep an eye on your SoFi account statements and their website for any updates. So, are SoFi's limits restrictive? For most people, SoFi's transaction and deposit limits are more than enough for everyday banking needs. The high ATM withdrawal limit and daily spending power are particularly appealing. However, if you're someone who regularly deals with large sums of cash or makes frequent high-value transfers, you might find SoFi's limits a bit constricting. In conclusion, SoFi or so long? Ultimately, the decision of whether SoFi Money is right for you depends on your individual banking habits. If you value convenience, fee-free transactions, and a good dose of financial freedom, SoFi's limits are unlikely to be a major hurdle. But if you need a bank specifically designed for high-volume transactions or frequent cash deposits, you might want to consider traditional options. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.